Welcome to My Tesla Weekend, Gigafactory progress for all sites, Giga Shanghai, Giga Berlin, and Giga Texas. For the week ending November 21st, 2020, Giga Shanghai. The new entrance bridge area is coming along nicely. The sides are now clearly defined, and the work area has been drained. New concrete bridge supports have been set, and it's really starting to take shape. The site of the second floor ramp from Phase 2, demolished just a few weeks ago, has had most of the piling work completed for additional building construction, and many of the footers already poured. These were still driven piles, typical for this and only this site, but the method of pouring in footers appears borrowed from Berlin and Texas. We don't know what's going to go here, but man are we curious. The central road dividing the buildings has been final paved and road striped as it nears completion. You can also see how tidy things are getting as rubbish is removed and areas for grass are prepared. Additional areas where construction may soon occur are starting to appear, so we'll keep an eye on those in the coming weeks. The small steel structure near the power plant is complete and interior work is well underway. Areas near the edge of the property, far opposite from Phase 1, appear near to completion, with a large area being cleared out in front of it. Additional smaller buildings may be placed here, or it may just be cleared for limited landscaping. A cement truck is visible, preparing to lay some loading or driveway area, and cranes can be seen loading equipment inside as well as onto the roof to complete HVAC and other mechanical systems. There are a lot of empty crates, indicating the sheer quantity of equipment already installed. Giga Berlin. The main concrete structure continues to be closed in. It's not a whole lot to see this week on this particular angle, but man, what a beauty. At the north end of the building, we can see that there are significantly more vertical pillars and the roof trusses that have been put in place, as well as concrete interior firewalls. A lot of the large pit we'd seen up here has been completed and backfilled with compacted dirt for the isolation foundations for the stamping machines. This is one example of exposed footings from a week ago that are now entirely complete. In the casting area, we can see new roof trusses and foundation work has been completed. And on the steel trussed roof section next to it, quite a bit of progress is visible. The center corridor here continues to be filled in with pillars and trusses, though we didn't get a good angle on it this week. Nearly all of the vertical columns for Giga Berlin have been erected, with well over half of the roof coverage installed. The next step will be to add the layers of insulation and waterproofing to the roofs, then the walls, then concrete to the interior floors to allow completion of equipment installation within. Here you can see the roof layers being applied. What I don't understand is why so much of the building is concrete. I mean, it's so expensive and there's so much of it, especially the roof decks. It isn't intended to be load bearing, right? I mean, he's not putting the rave cave on the roof, is he? And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. This is one of the ways YouTube knows to share videos like mine with the kinds of people who share our interests. And, thank you. Here you can see the number of vertical columns already in place, as well as some of the concrete wall segments added to close it off from the elements. The steel stick forest canopy is closing in on Giga Berlin. Giga Texas. The first big thing you'll notice is that the gazebo of just 4 segments last week has expanded to 12 areas this week, with 2 of them extending to the second floor, which we believe will be the final height, at least in this area. On the west side of the site, you'll see the number of footers dug and poured has increased by more than double, including some footers in the area we had previously believed was going to be the center roadway. And if there's one thing Elon's always said, the best driveway is no driveway. Additional steel for pillars, beams, and trusses are on site, awaiting installation, and foundation work has moved from the area just east of the gazebo, where stronger cementous piers were needed, to just south of it, where it appears to be much less labor-intensive geo-piers. We still don't know what the serrated pit is for, but work there continues as well. The large pit at the southeast corner has seen even larger changes, with substantial concrete work completed on the foundation walls, new pillar footers, and whole new areas completed. There are also 8 new pre-formed concrete columns erected, similar to the ones used in Berlin, and part of the retention pond appears to be reclaimed for use by the factory. There are also a number of new concrete footers poured upon which to erect columns in this area, and the small pit is a pit no more, with the isolation foundation having been completed and fully backfilled around it. Moving to the west side of the site, we can see the number of foundation footings has roughly doubled since last week, indicating that both halves of this factory are intended to be completed at roughly the same time. There was discussion about this before, that maybe the western half or the eastern half would go up first, but no, it appears they will both go up at the same time. The scheduled dry-in date of December 30th, the point where substantial interior work can begin, continues to be a bit of an elusive fantasy, as that's just 5 weeks away and there ain't no walls yet. Like, not anywhere. The footer holes visible last week are almost entirely completed footers today, and the bare ground last week is equal parts empty pits and completed footers awaiting columns. Once they move from footing to the vertical work, the pace should move very quickly. As it is now, there's concern that the foundation guys and the steel guys would get in each other's way. You gotta give them space to work, man. There are about 9 cranes working on site, and roof segments are being assembled on the ground to hoist them into their final positions in order to save time and effort and increase safety. The area where the temporary and permanent switchyards will be continue grading and aggregate work. A switchyard in this context means the electro-zappy area where high voltage is converted down for use at the factory. It only looks a tad tidier this week, but hey man, every bit counts. This area to the east of the main building has seen significant earthworks in recent weeks. We don't yet know what it's going to be used for, but if I had to guess, I'd say a Jamba Juice. One additional legacy structure, a house, has finally been cleared from the site. Across the freeway to the southwest, the approximately 200-acre site continues to be cleared, however slowly, at least by Giga Texas standards. So thank you guys for being part of my Tesla weekend. If you like this video, check out last week's side-by-side factory progress up here in the corner or in the description below. And you know what? I will see you guys soon.